Good morning. Hello, Queen. Good to see you guys. Whoever is here. So this hearing, it already got started. They do have the 30-minute delay still. And then I gave us a little extra time. Gets pretty hairy though. She's very argumentative in this hearing from what I saw. And I have been having a feeling that, maybe the judge is not going to put up with as much of her crap this time. I don't know. Oh, seriously, Queen. Wow. Yeah, you guys are going to look. I didn't see it all. But wow. If you ever think that maybe you could just dislike her any less, no, she's not going to let that happen. It's just going to get worse and worse. But anyway, let's get over there and watch. It's yikes. Wow. Okay.
The victim is appearing virtually.
Lori Daybell.
All right. Number of things to discuss and get through here today. First of all is the motion for new trial the defendant filed. I received the response. I think the reply is due today. Is that being filed?
Yes, Your Honor, I have it right here. And
is it ready to be filed?
yes.
Okay, we'll file that. You have a copy for the state?
I do.
Okay. The response, I'll take a look, or the reply, I should say. I'll take a look at that.
Hey, Ryan.
The next thing I wanted to discuss was the state had filed a notice of intent to use defendant's other acts to establish conspiracy, premeditation, and/or establish motive pursuant to Rule 404B. In your pretrial statement, you indicated you wish to strike or withdraw that?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's withdrawn. Next, we have state's request to preclude the media from showing the face of a testifying witness, one of the witnesses. I'm assuming you don't really have a dog in that fight, Ms. Daybell, or do you have a response?
I don't have a dog in the fight, but I haven't had a chance to read over. I just got a bunch of this stuff, so I'm not really sure what they're asking for.
Well, one of the witnesses also works in an undercover capacity, and showing that witness's face could compromise other investigations or things that that witness is doing. So it's a request to not broadcast his face through the media out into the public.
And is this witness FBI or something to that effect?
It's Nicholas Balance. I think he is an FBI agent.
Correct, he is an FBI agent.
And he's a relevant witness because of why?
According to the state's notice, he created a PowerPoint regarding some of the Wi-Fi or cellular data
Cellular
location.
and Wi-Fi use, yes.
Yeah.
I have no real objection to him being obscured. I don't know how they'll do it, but.
All right, so I'll direct the media during trial when witness Nicholas Balance is called to testify. They can't broadcast his face out. They can focus the lower part of the witness stand or something like that, but his likeness or image or face should not be broadcast out to the public. So I'm essentially granting the state's request in that regard. Next, we have state's amended request for Rule 609 hearing and the defendant's response. When I read the amended request, you're simply adding the most recent conviction, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't really respond to that in your reply. You kind of just talked about the previous reply that you had made about, did you notice that she had asked to basically add your most recent conviction?
I saw that, but I didn't know what the law was since I wasn't sentenced for that yet, so I wasn't quite sure where to go on that, so I left it off.
Okay, with the 609, I think similar to the last trial, I'll put that off, and depending on if you testify or not, it only really becomes relevant if you decide to testify. So we'll table that for the time being. Next, I have the state's motion limiting to preclude inadmissible evidence relating to Tammy Latchik, who is a evidence scene technician type person from the, I think it's city of Chandler. Did you, or sorry, Gilbert, did you have a chance to review that?
I just got it and I am in the middle of responding to that. But I do have a request in that regard
Which is?
from the state, since it was, you know, just given to us, and I'm sure that the state had that information clearly before now. We need additional information, and due to that late disclosure, I was gonna ask the state if they could disclose to us the employment records of Tammy and the emails regarding this incident and any recordings or body cam videos, so that we don't have to have my investigator try to do an investigation so quickly. If they have that information, if it could be turned over to the defense so that we don't have to try to gather that information so quickly.
Well, I don't think you're necessarily entitled to all those things if it's deemed that incident is irrelevant to her testimony. So I think the threshold issue is if you want to file a response where you think that is relevant, something that you can get into, an incident that happened 4 years later, I guess when can you file your response?
Without any further information, I don't know, when is that response necessarily due, Your Honor?
It was filed May 3rd, so technically it's already past due. So can you file it by next, you have a copy of it now,
I just got a copy, correct?
right? How about next Wednesday, the 21st?
Yes, I can do that.
All right, so we'll.
And I have
put
a
that
question
aside.
on that as well. Can I make an objection on the sealing? Can I ask under what law or rule or statute that this motion was sealed under?
They've requested to file it under seal because of the nature of the motion and the contents of what that incident is, not needing to necessarily be in the public eye. So if you want to include in your motion an objection to it being filed under seal, you can do that as well.
Okay,
So you'll file that no later than May 21st. I don't need a reply on that. I'll deal with that, I guess, probably our first day of trial or so.
so you're not going to set a 609?
I want to remind you guys really quickly that she has never turned anything over on time, okay? Nothing. Not one thing. So already she's starting with this attitude. Let me just tell you, I didn't even hear this part. It gets a lot worse. How somebody keeps from slapping the shit out of her, I just don't know.
In hearing?
This is not a,
Oh, not the 609, but I'm hearing for Tammy Latchik.
I can listen to oral argument when you filed your reply, but I don't believe I needed any sort of hearing on it. So I'll deal with that May 29th or 30th, I suppose. All right, then we have the defendant's motion for no restraints in trial dated May 6th. I don't know, in your motion, I don't know where you get the idea that the sheriff's office recommendation ever was that you have no restraints at all. Their minimum recommendation was that you wear a rack belt.
Well, I have it right here and I copied it verbatim.
Yeah, you
Okay,
said, what it
recommendation.
said was my recommended minimum requirements as listed above, and those were to wear a rack belt.
It said, or the recommendation of MCSO was that they could have a unarmed detention officer and an armed deputy sheriff if I was to not have any restraints.
Right, but that wasn't their recommendation. I've received the defendant's motion. I've received non-party Maricopa County Sheriff Jerry Sheridan's response.
On the MCSO security justifications, my understanding is was his recommendation.
Your Honor, Joseph Vigil for the Sheriff's Office, if you have any questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll deny the motion from the defendant. The same conditions will be set that we had in the first trial, that being you wear the rack belt, no leg brace. There was one incident during the trial where you asked to take a break because a strap was hanging down behind your jacket. We did that. We rectified the situation. There's been no indication whatsoever that the jury noticed the rack belt or anything like that. So I think those conditions are appropriate and will remain for the second trial.
Your Honor, the jury was not polled to see if they noticed anything either. Was that correct?
Right. There was no request for that. All right. So next we have defendant's motion to consult with advisory council and team during trial dated May 6th. I don't know. I guess what exactly are you requesting? Are you requesting that during the lunch recesses you be housed somewhere where you can meet with your team?
Correct.
Okay.
And I know that it's a DO situation, and I know that our DO has his other obligations to do. So I didn't know if another officer could if something could be arranged so that I would have time with my team during those breaks and during lunchtime.
We did accommodate that during breaks and recesses during the trial to the extent that it doesn't delay the jury getting into the courtroom and resuming the trial when we need to, like when we take the 15-minute afternoon recess. That will continue. You'll have an opportunity to meet with them briefly. Over the lunch hour, I think is the real question. I did receive a response this morning from the sheriff's office, which indicates they don't really have an objection to that. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. There is an area on the 4th floor in the South Court Tower where she can be taken to meet with her advisory council, and they'll work that out.
All right. I don't have a problem with that. So if you need to meet with them when we break for lunch, just indicate to the DO that's what you need to do. There may be a day where you don't need to meet with them, but I'll essentially grant. Ms. Kay, I don't assume you don't have an issue with them.
I have no position on it.
So I'll grant the defendant's motion on that she can meet during the lunch hour. Again, the only restriction on that is that we're not going to delay bringing in the jury at 1:30. We'll expect everyone back in the courtroom to start on time. All right, let's talk about the trial schedule and the screening. I received in the state's pretrial statement. Have you seen that?
I just did, yes.
Your Honor, may I be
Yes,
excused?
go ahead. Thank you. The state's pretrial statement indicate there was some witness scheduling issues. If we get the jury sat on the 30th and impaneled on the 30th, the last Friday in May, and we have our opening statements and begin testimony and evidence Monday, June 2nd, you indicated that the state indicated you would run out of witnesses either Wednesday or sometime Thursday.
Correct. That are available that week, yes.
Right, and then so we'll definitely go dark on Friday the 6th. I had initially indicated we'd be in trial on that day, but if we can't have any witnesses here, we'll be dark on that day, and we'll indicate that for screening purposes for the jurors. I think we'll still indicate that we'll be in trial on the 5th, and we'll have to play that by ear. Maybe we will be dark, maybe we won't. But as far as when you resume on the 9th, you said you thought you would have 3 witnesses left at that point?
Correct.
Do you have an anticipation? Are those witnesses that would each take a whole day, or?
I think it's possible I could finish that day.
So ultimately what I'm getting at is trying to drill down the schedule and screening for the jury. Do we not need to screen them for the week of the 23rd?
Obviously, I just received the defendant's 15.2 that lists 2 different expert witnesses. I did request that they actually comply with Rule 15.2 and give me any information about any of these experts. They've also listed other witnesses. So because of that, I would still screen them for the other week.
Well, maybe we should address that. Is there still no report from Lonnie Dworkin that the state's received?
I have received nothing.
Do you have some sort of expert report you were disclosing?
We will, Your Honor, yes.
When?
Oh, when is that going to be? Because it's way past due.
So the state did receive the affidavit from Lonnie explaining the things, which is why they turned over late discovery in the middle of trial. So we did have that. He's working on a few things for us as well now, and I will get with him as soon as possible and get that report to you as soon as possible.
All right, well, it's depending on what's in that report, it is likely to be precluded at this point, but I'll keep an open mind on that, and I guess we'll wait and see. Let's talk about, for the purposes of scheduling.
Your Honor, and just there's one other person that I'm Googled.
I'm going to ask her about the other
Okay.
witnesses. I received your supplemental witness list, I think yesterday. You have, in addition to Mr. Dworkin, you have Weaver, Barkman, again, Detective Moffett, Jeffrey White, Melanie Gibb, and Zulema Pastanas.
Zulema Pastanas.
Okay. Was Detective Moffett also involved in this case?
He was involved with the case agent of this case while he was the case agent of the other case, correct?
Okay. So he may or may not have, he may have relevant information. Again, I guess that's a wait and see. What about, who's Weaver Barkman?
So he's a ballistics expert.
Is that an expert? So that's an expert. Do you have an expert report that's been disclosed?
Not yet, Your Honor. We're working on it.
Your Honor, since I have not noticed a ballistics expert, that's a big problem because if I get something, then I would have to do that. So the defendant's, again, extremely late violation of all rules of criminal procedure is a problem.
It is a problem. Who's Jeffrey White?
My investigator.
Oh, okay. And do you have an idea of in what capacity you think he would be called?
Well, we had made a request from the state for the car door and the window that the bullet supposedly hit, and we were going to have him inspect that as well. We have recently found out that those two things do not exist. So I'm not sure what they're going to be putting up as far as ballistics in their case in chief. So I was trying to have someone who could be able to look at whatever reports they're trying to put up and rebut anything that they're saying.
Is Mr. White an expert in that area?
Mr. Weaver?
No, I said Jeffrey White.
He's my investigator.
Right, that's who I was asking, who has relevant information. What's Mr. White's relevant information for, why might he be called as into trial?
Because he's interviewing the witnesses as well, the defense witnesses.
So is it some sort of extrinsic impeachment if they?
You know, I actually don't. I don't think they're going to have a hard time because there's still, I think a lot of people just don't pay attention to this stuff. Surprising. Yeah, I think that too. Yep. Almost anybody, I mean, you know, I don't know, like people that come in to my chat, my family that come in here, you know, my sister and stuff. But most people I talk to, even though I talk about this stuff all the time, don't know about it. Isn't that weird? However, I am working on getting an interview with somebody who knew Melanie and Brandon Bourdreaux. Cross your fingers, she's going to do it. But no, I don't. People don't know. It's weird. Yeah. People ask me what I'm talking about or something, and I tell them, and then they'll go and look it up. But they don't know about it. It's kind of weird, but
Correct.
What about Melanie Gibb?
So Melanie Gibb and Zelina Pastinas were both initially noticed in the state's 15.1. They have not noticed them again. I don't know if they can still call them if they're on their list, but
Have you,
they have relevant information to this case.
have they been presented for an interview by the state?
They've both been interviewed multiple times by the state.
I mean, not
Hey,
by police
Frazzled.
officers, I mean by either a prosecutor or someone in her office in preparation for trial.
In this case,
In either case,
not that I'm aware of.
have they been subpoenaed?
The subpoenas are out.
What relevant information would they have?
They have relevant information to Brandon Bourdreaux
Okay,
and around that
what
time.
is the nature of that relevant information?
It will come apparent if they have to get up and testify, Your Honor. I will only call them if I need
Well, they're gonna
them.
be precluded if you can't give me some minimal, what relevant information they have. Just saying that they're relevant doesn't make them relevant. Okay?
Yes, and is this procedure that I have to say what each of my witnesses are relevant ahead of time and give my whole case in chief over to the state? It is?
Yeah.
That's
just
how
like-
it works?
like
That's
this-
the rules of law?
Stop interrupting me. Yes, that is the rule of law. That's just what the state does. They tell you what relevant information each witness has. So my answer is yes. So if you can't tell me what relevant information they have, they'll be precluded.
They both have had dealings with Brandon Bourdreaux and Alex Cox. So
Okay, so does someone, that was a server for them at a restaurant. It doesn't make them have relevant information as to this case. Anyone who came into contact with Mr. Bourdreaux or Mr. Cox had some interaction with them at some point in their lifetime does not make them a relevant witness. So what is their relevance?
the state had them on their witness list and they're saying they're not relevant?
Apparently not. Are you calling them?
No, they're not on my,
Police interview however many people they interview because they're working on the case. They don't know who has relevant information, who doesn't have relevant information. All the people that they interview don't end up being relevant. So because they're listed in a police report somewhere, doesn't necessarily make them relevant.
Okay, their relevance lies in if they have to rebut something that the state puts on in their case in chief. They're just called in case they need them. They're subpoenaed in case I need them.
All right. It sounds like they don't have relevant information. However, I'll include these names on the potential witness list for screening the jurors if the jurors have any knowledge of any of these witnesses out of an abundance of caution. That's really the purposes for today is the questionnaire that goes out to the jurors. So I will include these witnesses. Again, Mr. Dworkin, Mr. Barkman, if they're expert witnesses that haven't provided any sort of report or expert witness testimony, they're likely to be precluded as witnesses. But I'll include them on the witness list. I think what I'm hearing is you said you might finish on the 9th or the 10th? I'm going to indicate on the questionnaire to the jurors, potential jurors, that the trial is likely to end by June 13th, Friday, June 13th. However, I'll include that Monday, the 23rd and kind of say, if needed or if required, might go to June 23rd out of an abundance of caution. So I'll finalize that questionnaire. It's pretty much done, and it's pretty much the same as the last one, except for the names of the witnesses, the specific allegations. And then I removed the question about viewing medical examiner autopsy type photos because that's not needed in this case. But I'll send you guys out a copy. Actually, I could probably finish it in the next couple minutes and print out a copy so you have it before you leave here today. That questionnaire, I need to get with the jury office. I think we were talking about sending it out the 22nd and cutting it off the 28th or 27th. And then we'll meet again on the 29th in this courtroom to go over the responses. That'll be at 1 p.m. on the 29th.
Your Honor, in light of the juror misconduct or the alleged juror misconduct, I have to object to us having so much information go out about my personal information in that jury questionnaire. Do you not think that was a problem?
What personal information?
The state versus Lori Daybell.
What's the name of the case?
Yeah, but you don't put that on anyone else's questionnaire, or one other person that's ever had that questionnaire ever put out with their name on it. They just don't do it.
Do it in every trial I've done.
Then the people are just going to Google it,
We're-
and then we're going to have the same exact problem we had getting a jury for that case. We're going to have the same exact problem.
Are you done? Are you just going to keep? Okay. How do we screen for if people have heard about you if we don't include your name? Do you have a response to that?
I'm just saying, you gave them the name, and they're just going to Google it.
They're instructed not to Google it. All right. And if you'll recall, when we had all the jurors come in person, one of the first questions I asked them in the afternoon was, who has looked up this case since you filled out the questionnaire? And we had 2 or 3 people raise their hand, and those people were excused. So I have to include your name to screen out for the people that know about your case. And we released about 100 jurors last time because of their answers to that. If we don't include your name, that's 100 extra jurors we have to go through in person and ask if they know you. And in fact, that increases the risk of tainting the rest of the jury pool. If we have someone stand up and say, yeah, I know about her case in Idaho where blah, 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 in front of the rest of the jurors, that'll burn the whole panel. We'll have to start over. So I'm going to include your name in the questionnaire. I don't think there was any other personal information or background information about you in that questionnaire other than your name. So was there any other issues you had with the questionnaire?
No, Your Honor.
So the schedule will be, we'll meet 1 p.m. to go over those answers on the 29th. On the 30th, we'll meet at 10. We'll have walk-in jurors that morning that will fill out the questionnaire. And then the people that survive are screening on the 29th, and those that survive the morning of the 30th will come in the afternoon of the 30th. This will be back in the courtroom we were in last time, 5D of the South Court Tower. Again, I expect to seat that jury at some point that afternoon. And then we'll plan on going Monday through Thursday, June 2nd to June 5th. Then June 9th to June 13th, and if need be, June 23rd.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd have to ask that you would recuse yourself from the obvious personal bias that you have against me and send us to master calendar for this scheduling of a trial.
And what personal bias is that?
A lot, obviously, the personal bias that you're showing right now and that you've shown on the FTR several times during the trial.
Okay, well, I don't have any personal bias, all right? I've over accommodated you on when you have to disclose things. In fact, your expert should be summarily precluded today, and I haven't done that. All right? So
You denied every single one of my motions since for a year and a half that I've been here. Every single one of my motions has been denied. And have any of those motions not have merit? You've denied every single motion.
I think I was here this morning about 15 minutes ago when I granted your motion to meet with your attorneys over the lunch hour. I have granted other motions of yours. Okay?
That's the first motion that you've ever granted
Well,
in my behalf.
file motions that have a legal basis and I might grant them.
So you're saying none of my motions have had merit?
Not many, no.
And none of the motions that my first team, you denied every one of my first team's motions. You denied every one of my second team's motions. And now you denied every one of my motions until today.
I haven't denied every one of your motions.
Every single one of their motions was denied. Every single one of the second team's motions were denied, and all mine. So you didn't come into this with any bias against me in the first place?
Again, file a motion that has legal merit. Okay?
And none of my attorneys ever filed a motion with any legal merit?
They filed a motion on your behalf, the first team, to preclude media coverage, and I issued my ruling according to the law. All right? They filed a motion to have you dressed out, not in jail clothes during hearings like this. Okay? That was not based in law. I denied that motion. So I've ruled on the motions as required by law.
Without any kind of a conclusion of law in them, just denied, 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 denied. Does that not show a bias and a prejudice against one single person?
All right. Are you done?
Are you not going to recuse yourself?
No, I'm denying your motion. Anything else? All right, I was handed a motion to suppress all evidence pertaining to Jeep Wrangler.
I have not received that.
Did you probably got a copy of it today or not?
No.
Oh, do we need to make copies?
I just wasn't sure if you wanted to see them beforehand.
All right, go ahead and make copies for the state. I also have a motion to dismiss for non-preservation of crucial evidence. So make a copy. I guess the state can file their response to those. All right. Anything else for today from the state's perspective?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see everyone on the 29th at 1 p.m. Again, that's in this courtroom.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right? That's crazy, huh? That is crazy. Wow. I think he's been extremely patient with her. Like, more patient than I am happy with. I know. Oh my God, wasn't that funny? Oh my God. So you're not going to recuse yourself? No, no. She's gotten by with so much shit. That was crazy, huh? Yep. Here. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Oh. Even right now. Yeah, exactly. No, right, Trimey, she does. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, you know what? And so frustrating. Who could like you? Who? Besides that stupid ass juror that feels sorry for her. You're not a likable person and you killed your kids. Just shut the hell up. I mean, I can't with her. He's been so decent to her. It's crazy. And, oh, this is what I wanted to say. So, you know, she always acts like she doesn't get the time to meet with her people and do all that, you know, take care of stuff. That's not true. Whenever they did the tour of her facility and her cell, they said she has access anytime she wants to her legal counsel and her investigator. But she wants to keep saying these people are relevant just in case. Just in case. She was already told last time that's not a thing. There's no just in case witnesses. I know. This is going to get fun, right? She doesn't want to wear that belt. You want to know why? Because she's trying to look a certain way in court. And the reason that she was wearing those big shirts and stuff was to cover up that belt. She doesn't want to do that. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, we're going to watch it. It's going to be short too. Again, the last one, I didn't expect the last one to go as long as they thought. I ended up being kind of right about that. I said, I thought maybe 2 weeks, possibly 3. And it was 2.5. So I was kind of right about that. I look for this one to be about the same. I can't find the prosecution's witness list. I really would like to see Melanie Gibb and Zulema on the witness list or as witnesses. I would love to see them on the stand. But again, she's not saying why. Right, exactly. I know, he's so cute. I'm trying to find the witness list. Oh, let's look and see if anybody, I know Lauren from Hidden True Crime was in there. Let me see. Okay, I can't play her live. As soon as she gets done, I'll play that. But I'm trying to find the witness list. Huh. I don't see. Exactly. That's just it. Right. She's not. And that's why I say a lot of people around here don't know. Because, like I said, we have a serial killer trial going on right now. Even though she is a serial killer, in my opinion. People don't know about her as much as you would think, not around here. Yeah, I want to hear what someone else says about it because it's going to be funny. She was really, I wish I had been in there this morning with her getting all crazy like that. Wild, huh? Let me see. Okay, we got to wait just a minute for that. Okay, let's look real quick at this. Just so you guys know, and we're getting ready to do it. Oh, I did not, Queen. Wow. Oh, is that what you were saying? You really mean you have one out there by you? Let me see. Oh, I don't see it. When did this happen, Queen? So just so you guys know, Fledge Watch started yesterday. Experts say it'll still probably be a couple weeks, but anytime now. They can. Oh my God, that's so cute. Try me. Oh my God. I love that. No. Yeah, I'm seeing what all I could find right now was something in February. It was an obvious, they were fussing. There was a fuss. I don't see anything. That's weird. Why? See, I don't know why they don't. I know, try me. I'm excited. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Everything, right? No, don't apologize though, Queen. I don't know. I have not heard it. Let me see. Okay, this is over so we can watch it real quick. Oh no, I'm sorry, Frazzled. Oh, I'm really sorry you have a headache, Frazzled. Yes, I hope you feel better. Hey. Let's see what Lauren had to say about that mess.
Hello, everybody. This is my lunch live for today. We just finished Lori Vallow Daybell's pre-trial hearing, the pre-trial for the trial where he is charged with conspiracy to commit murder, the murder of Brandon Bourdreaux, attempted murder. He survived, and will be testifying at the trial. But for those of you that were watching on our live stream, Lori, the mask has come off, and Lori showed her true Daryl Brooks self today. Lori unhinged. What was not on the schedule today in my early morning pre-hearing live that I did, what I wasn't expecting was a motion for Lori to recuse Judge Bourdreaux from this case. That was I did not see that coming. That was a curveball today, a plot twist, whatever you want to call it. Lori Vallow Daybell telling Judge Bourdreaux that he ought to maybe recuse himself and from this because of his clear bias against her. You know, in all of my reporting, I have always said that Judge Bourdreaux is actually, in my opinion, fairly level-headed when it comes to refereeing her case, and has actually shown her a lot of leeway. You know, when she doesn't understand the legalities and case law and maybe just law in general. When it comes to this case, he's always giving her leeway and leniency. And for Lori to say that today, yeah, and Judge Bourdreaux's response, are you done? Like, yeah, I think we need some merch. Are you done? I'm going to be adopting that one, Judge Bourdreaux. Thank you. So I actually, yeah, I agree. One man's trash. That I feel like the judge has actually helped Lori several times. And today with relevancy, just like him saying, like, I need relevancy. You know, you can have a server. Someone could have served Brandon Bourdreaux, and that doesn't mean that witness has relevancy. Give me something, Lori. Can you give me something? And when she couldn't give him anything as far as relevancy goes, he said, well, I'll still put Melanie Gibb and Zulema Pastenes on the jury questionnaire because it sounds like you really want them to be witnesses. I see no relevancy, but I'm still going to do that for you. So anyway, I'm going to have a full recap of everything that went down later tonight. And I am doing my lunch live today at the airport, clearly. Forgive the noise. I forgot my cool phone mic. I remembered everything else. I've got like 3 backpacks full of podcasting supplies, but we forgot the phone microphone. So I am here at the airport, but I am going right now, just for everyone who's saying, why don't I cover another case? Okay, thank you. I am not going home right now. So I flew from home to Phoenix this morning, and now we are flying to Boise, Idaho. There's a pretrial hearing for Brian Kohberger tomorrow morning in Ada County, and I plan to be there to report on all of that too. So hit subscribe, as I always say, and hit notifications, because I will be doing Lori Vallow's recap tonight from Boise, Idaho. So we're just making our rounds today. But Lori Vallow Daybell, I call it today. She was full MFYT, made for YouTube. That was something else. And like I said, do not miss our recap tonight. So what I'm going to be doing on the plane is we're going to be prepping for tonight's Lori Vallow Daybell pretrial recap. And then, of course, tomorrow I'll have all things Brian Coburn for you. So, anyway, yes, Deborah, can somebody give me a case in Hawaii? You know, I'm there. I'm there. No. Anyway, one thing we learned that was interesting that we didn't know before from this pretrial hearing today is I did not know that at one point Judge Bresky explained to Lori she really doesn't want to wear that rack belt. She really doesn't want to wear that rack belt. So today, again, Lori was saying, look, I don't want to wear this. And Judge Bresky then explained, look, we did have an issue when you had a strap hanging down and we excused you at one point with the jury and we excused you and we fixed it. And the jury never saw your rack belt. That was a moment that I was in court every day for the Charles Vallows murder trial, and I never saw that happen. And I didn't know that happened, where they actually excused Lori for a time during the trial to fix a strap that was perhaps hanging out of the back that had to do with her rack belt. And then the judge said, I don't believe that no juror said that they ever knew that you were wearing it. And Lori tried to argue and said, well, we didn't ask them. I will say Hidden True Crime asked the jurors that we interviewed, and none of them knew that Lori Vallow Daybell was wearing a rack belt. Particularly, I think of Victoria. I said, did you know that she was wearing that? She absolutely did not know that she was wearing a rack belt. So we did ask the jury for you, Lori, and they did not know, at least the ones we spoke to, the jurors, that you were wearing that rack belt. Yeah. I mean, I'll also say this. When she brought up that she wanted to call as defense witnesses Melanie Gibb and Zulema Pastenes, both of her ex-best friends, not to mention sister-in-law. Zulema Pastenes technically is her sister-in-law, married Alex, was married to him when Alex died. I was like, please find some relevancy, Lori. Lori, can you find some relevancy so that you can actually get Melanie Gibb and Zulema Pastenes on the stand? It was like the only time I was rooting for Lori, when Judge Boresky's like, you got to show me relevancy. And she just was not bringing relevancy to the table. I want to be like, Lori, give them something. This is not that hard. Say something that gives them relevancy. I can think of a slew of things. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to give away your defense strategy. Just give the judge something. I support this. Please call Gibb. Please call Zulema Pastenes. Let's do this. Nothing. One person she didn't call was Melanie Pulowski, her niece, Brandon Bourdreaux's ex-wife. That was interesting. The state is also not calling her, but neither is her Aunt Lori. Seems like she could help. Seems like she might have some relevancy. Many people ask about why she was never charged, wanting an explanation. I can't give you that. I don't know why she was or wasn't. We don't know what evidence the police have or don't have. I don't know if she should or shouldn't be charged. But she's certainly relevant to this case, and she is not being called as witness by anyone. Yeah, Lori is a law unto herself. So anyway,
That's exactly how I feel. I want them on the stand. I've been wanting them on the stand. I've been wanting them on trial. Hey, Beck. Were you here for Lori's hearing? She was feisty Lori today. Oh, that was crazy. You'll have to back it up. I'm telling you. Oh, she asked the judge to recuse himself. Yeah, it got a little hairy Carrie in there, and I think it was hilarious. But yes, I want them charged, but 100% I would love them on the stand. That'd be awesome. And I don't even know what any of those people are doing right now. She is. I think the judge has been very good to her. I think he's been better to her than I wanted him to be. But she is a stink ass. For sure. Yeah, he is. I got something for the little baby. Let me put this back on.
I was rooting for Lori during that moment. I was like, Lori, come on, like work with me. Just a little bit of relevancy, just a teeny tiny bit of relevancy. That's all you need. She couldn't do it. She could not do it. So Judge Bourdreaux, who was given her multiple chances too, like, let me explain what relevancy is to you, Lori. So relevancy would be beyond someone that served them dinner at a restaurant. So, you know, and then she was like, well, is this the law? Well, yes, it is. It's the law. Did not make her happy. Then she decided to rebuke him. Pretty much is what I saw there. I mean, she was like, are you going to, recuse yourself? I wanted her to stand up and say something spiritual, like, I rebuke you and my angels from heaven say. I mean, I think that's what she really wanted to say. But, she was trying to use, her legalese to make it sound official due to bias.
Hey, Barbara. No, he said no. He was not going to recuse himself. And he told her that he's been more than patient with her, and he has. Oh yeah, she was a complete ass today. Way more than fell over. She said that. Yeah, I know. But she did. She had the smirks, the sarcasm. She was combative from the very beginning in this, actually, I felt. And then it just kept getting worse and worse. She is a piece of it. It's so ridiculous. You don't know the law. You are incarcerated. Those are two things that are not anybody else's fault, okay? The way she always says, being incarcerated, it's hard for her to do this and do that. Okay, well, you killed your kids, ma'am. You're a convicted killer. So yes, you're behind bars. What do you not get about that, you psycho? And you don't have to defend yourself, but you want to parade around. See, if she's not defending herself, she just sits there while her attorneys do things. That's not what she wants. She wants to be up there. She wants the attention. And yeah, like you said, she's not, you're not that important, Lori. The way she said, when he said, what information am I providing? She's like, the state versus Lori Daybell. Yeah, a whole lot of people around here don't know that name. They just don't. Believe it or not, they really don't. Unbelievable. Your obvious bias against me. I think it's been obvious that he didn't show bias. Here, let's turn this down a tiny bit. Okay, sorry. Okay. I can finish this and see.
Bias that he makes her follow the law. Sucks when you don't want to follow the law. You know, just get rid of the judge, right? When people don't want to follow law, they just want to get rid of the judge because they're checks and balances. So makes sense. Makes sense. Very psychopathic thing to do. Anyway, I'm gonna go jump on this flight. Do not miss my recap today because as I fly to Boise, we're gonna be working on it, and we need more than this sort of mental decompression after that. That was something else. And then here's the question I really want to know. Is the mask off? Is this Lori saying I don't give a crap anymore? Like I have finally nothing to lose. Is this Lori finally saying, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna be myself. Let's do this. Taking the gloves off. Or is Lori being this way because the jury's not in the room, and once there is a jury that's seated, she's going to go back to her more demure, proper, masked self again. I'm going to be honest, it is what it is. I found today's Lori quite interesting, and I hope she shows the world who she is. So I hope we see more of this Daryl Brooks-esque show in court throughout Brandon's trial, because I want the world to see who she really is. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in comments. Do you think that she's going to stay this way throughout Brandon's trial? Like she's just like, I'm done. This is it. Like recuse. I keep saying I don't know why I can't speak today. Recuse yourself, judge. That was good. So is she going to be that Lori, or is she going to be passive, sweet, I'm kind Lori? You know, gloves are off. Yeah, of course, right. In order to be this type of Lori throughout the trial, she's going to have to come back to reality a little bit and realize there's no point in fighting. And I don't know. I hope she does stay this way. She's got nothing to lose. All right.
Yeah, I actually hope she stays this way too. I think that'll be great. Yep. Yeah, I hope she does it. I hope she shows her ass. I do. But okay, I'm gonna schedule another live in a few hours. This little boy wants my attention right now, so I'm going to. Yeah, we will do it, babe. Yes, everybody have a great day. I will be back this afternoon. And we'll do some catch up on some things and check out the birds. The birds are about ready to take off, so we got to get ready for that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this with me. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye.